Hello and welcome to another episode of Crystalline. You're watching Javelin Studios and I'm Javelin. So we arrived at Wolfsden to how take shelter from the storm. Yeah, that's the term. And we met some very strange people. It's a very strange town actually. Uh, there are two solicitors? Is that the word? Yeah. These two men, they trying to recruit us to a very shady place to get power. Apparently they're manipulators of Ring, and they apparently recruited Zack. So now we're gonna check this shady place out and see what that place has to offer. Alright, so in the afternoon, I wake up to an accustomed brightness. Blinking my eyes open, I glance outside and notice an absence of clouds. Looks like the storm has finally passed. Zack's bed is empty and even the pongo is missing. I guess I'm the last one up considering it's already midday. Yeah, and considering we're gonna meet in the morning. Yeah. I hurry out of my bed and rush to get ready, then head downstairs. Well, maybe it's our fault because we're the one who woke up late. The team is already gathered around the table. They greet me as I arrive. It looks like the storm has passed.
Correct, which means we are able to resume our journey to Allendale.
Not exactly. We've still got some unfinished business. We have to meet up with those men to learn the secret to unimaginable power.
Oh right, those two men from yesterday. Zack gets to his feet.
Ready to go?
I suppose so. Leanna stands as well, but Kara and Amy stay put. Are you two coming?
The invitations were not extended to us.
Yeah, plus I think it's a mage or crystal specific thing, so that leaves me out. We'll stick around here and see what else we can dig up and meet you guys when you're done.
Amy nods. That's probably for the best. Leanna, Zack and I exit the inn. Studying the address on the cards given to us, we eventually come across a nondescript mansion. Cautiously, we knock on the front door. There's no response. Since they were looking for mages only, Leanna does a radio scan. From the blank door, a hidden message appears. It indicates to go around to the back entrance, but only when the sun has fully set. Well, luckily I woke up late. We decide to spend our time scouting out the location for all the different exits and get as much of the floor plan as we can figure out, just in case. By the time we are done our extensive mapping, it is evening. We circle around the house to the plain wooden door. We knock twice and the door swings open. Grinning widely is one of the men who recruited us yesterday. He ushers us in through the door and into the foyer where a handful of people mull about. Or meal, not sure. I take in the marble staircase and pristine tiles. Some people sit on the leather couches as we wait for whatever is supposed to happen to begin. Bright light spills into the room and reflects off the crystal chandelier hanging from the ceiling. This room looks more expensive than my entire house back home. I never had guessed it from the plain exterior of the house. After a few more minutes, a man with slick back hair approaches with open arms and a shining grin.
Welcome!
The room quiets down into silence as he greets us.
I'm sure you're all wondering why you've been invited here today. It's because our expert talent scouts spotted a commonality within all of you, an unmistakable ability, a mastery of the elements.
A few people sneak glances around the room. I look at Leanna, who is watching the speaker intently. Zack crosses his arms, his expression unreadable.
We too share this gift, and we too hungered for power. We spent hours upon hours honing our craft, showing painstakingly slow progress before we were introduced to the secret techniques we hope to share with you today. My friends, if you wish to become the most powerful casters in this area, then you have come to the right place. But as they say, with great power comes great responsibility. These techniques are dangerous and are not for the faint of heart. Failure can lead to dire consequences, and in order for us to continue, I need absolute assurance that you are all ready to face those consequences. If anyone is having second thoughts, now is the moment when you can walk out of here with no hard feelings.
A couple of people turn around and head back towards the door, but the majority of the group, which is still a small number of around 10 people, decide to stay.
I admire all of your courage, but I'm not surprised by your decision.
A doorway to the left of the room creaks open and the man points in that direction.
The beginning of your training is in the next room. Please proceed through the doors and our training leader will meet you there.
Low murmurings fill the silence as people begin to exit the room. As Leanna begins to pass, a strange man from before sidles up to her and lowers his voice.
So, the guild finally caught wind of this, eh?
Alright. We all know who this guy's supposed to be. Leanna masks her surprise and keeps her voice even.
I'm not sure what you mean.
He chuckles and nudges her.
It's alright. You can trust me. I'm actually Broodman.
He pauses as if waiting for our recognition, but we merely stare blankly at him. Well, you got all the other audience's recognition, I guess.
Broodman, the Silent Protector, Tamer of the Wolves at Wolfsden.
Again, we make no notion of recognition.
Well,
I'm sure
either
you all...
way, we're on the same side. I know that these guys are dangerous, and I've got a plan in place to stop them.
Well, in any case, we all know, or most of us supposed to know who this guy is supposed to be, or a reference to.
How do you know they're dangerous? Do you know what their secret technique is?
Broodman waggles his eyebrows knowingly.
Right, playing innocent to keep up your facade. I understand.
He winks.
Look, I was planning on taking these guys down alone, but having a member of the Mage Guild as backup would ensure the downfall of these guys. What do you say? Are you in?
Leanna frowns.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He winks.
Alright. You won't budge.
He taps his nose and then fixes his attention on Zack.
I'll just pretend I didn't see the mage emblem when you first entered Wolfsden. What about you?
His voice trails off as Zack stares him down with his unblinking gaze. Broodman seems unfazed. Broodman's gaze lands on me and he quickly shifts focus.
How about you?
Follow their lead. Let's have our own style, I guess. Let's have our own kind of response. I lower my voice to a raspy whisper. I understand, brethren. Like you, I too am a silent protector and watchful guardian. They call me the Dark Knight. And if this isn't obvious enough, I don't know what is. Leanna shoots me a warning look, but Broodman looks intrigued. We hear shuffling and I notice most of the people have filed out of the room by now.
We should get going before they get suspicious.
Broodman nods, and we follow the others out of the room and into an evening courtyard. The courtyard is surrounded all on sides by walls, which upon further inspection are hallways connecting the different wings of the mansion. Because we are enclosed within the mansion, we are guaranteed privacy.
Listen up! I know what they promised you back there, and I know they made it sound like all of you, as long as you try, will be able to learn the technique for power. But they're wrong. Only those of you strong enough to handle that amount of magic will be successful. And that's where I come in. I'm here to test your proficiency with magic, and if this technique is something you can even handle.
A few staff members who were standing on the sidelines come over and begin passing out manipulators. When they reach Zack, the staff member notices his lack of manipulator and looks at him in confusion. Zack doesn't react or bother to take the manipulator from his hands either.
He passes.
The training leader walks by, and as his gaze falls on Zack's discharges, his expression changes. He turns to the staff with the manipulator and urges him to move on. The staff member begins to protest, but the training leader stops him.
He passes. I know you all have your own manipulators, but I don't care. Use ours anyway. The goal of this isn't to show off who has the fanciest gadgets. It's to eliminate any variables so we can get a more accurate read on your abilities. Now, who wants to go first?
One person steps up and attempts to cast a gale, but his nerves makes his arm unsteady and he keeps losing focus.
Enough.
The training leader shakes his head and the man hangs his head. The staff members lead the man out of the courtyard as the next person steps up. One by one, they go until it's my turn. My blood runs cold as clammy sweat covers my body.
Let's go. We haven't got all day.
I close my eyes and breathe deeply. I can do this. Just remember my training. Once my hand's steady, I raise my arm and channel a gust of wind as I've done so many times before. I picture Leanna watching and encouraging me, and sure enough, a gust of wind flows through my fingers. The training leader frowns, unimpressed, but the staff member who took my energy reading races over to his side. I'm pretty sure I can guess what's going on. They took a scan and that said my energy levels are off the charts, and yet somehow my casting skill does not equal the energy I possess.
Pass. For now.
I nod. The training leader calls Leanna forward and I take this time to switch out my manipulator back to my own. She takes a deep breath, gathers her energy and raises her arm. Her blue eyes almost turn steel grey as a gale storm whips the trees in the courtyard. Leanna's hair flies around her, but she stands steady in the tempest, her gaze challenging the training leader. He raises his hand, and as instantly as she summoned it, Leanna sees the storm.
Pass.
As a few people pick themselves up from the ground or dust themselves off, Leanna returns to the group. Well, okay, let's try this one. Dang girl, you really blew me away with that display. Leanna groans. You threw caution to the wind and went all out.
You should stop.
But making these are such a breeze.
I'm leaving now.
Wait, I'm done, I promise. They continue to move through the test. Zack silently slinks over and joins us as Leanna surreptitiously, this word, switches back to her manipulator and does a scan of her own. She frowns at the results and lowers her voice so I can barely hear her.
I'm getting the same strange absence of energy reading that we got back at Stonecrest.
Do you think this has something to do with Void? She nods, her expression grave. A guard approaches Leanna and she quickly puts on a smile.
Ma'am, I have a message from the site commander. He wishes to meet you.
Oh?
In his private quarters.
Oh.
For once, she can't hide her surprise. The guard leaves momentarily as he goes to speak with the training leader. Leanna turns to us.
We need to figure a way out of this. There's no way I'm going into the commander's private quarters.
You have to.
What?
Quiet!
Leanna lowers her voice, but her tone is just as stern.
Do you have any idea what an invitation to his private quarters means?
Of course I do. And that's why you need to go. This is your chance to get inside and find out if this is a part of Void's operation like you suspect.
She frowns.
There must be another way.
Probably. But not on such short notice without an all-access pass to the most secure place in the entire mansion.
Leanna remains quiet as Zack's words sink in. Then she groans.
You're right. This is the perfect opportunity.
What about us?
We'll find a way inside and catch up with Leanna. When you get to his quarters, make sure you leave the door unlocked so we can get in.
I will. But you two better hurry up. I do not want to be alone with him longer than I need to.
The training leader looks annoyed and waves the guard away. falls silent as he returns to collect Leanna. She throws us one last warning look before leaving. So, how are we going to sneak in?
We need a distraction.
As Zack and I scan our surroundings, a hand falls on my shoulder.
Don't worry, I've got this.
Got what?
He just winks at us as he enters the center of the courtyard. The training leader looks amused as Broodman enters the testing space unprompted, but doesn't stop him. Broodman stands perfectly still and takes an exaggerated breath, then slowly breathes it out. He raises his arm in front of him and summons a glowing fireball in his hand. As he aims it straight in front of him, it was only then I noticed he'd strategically placed himself so he was facing a large tree. That's smart. He'll ignite the tree accidentally as part of his proficiency testing. Broodman takes another deep breath, and just as he's about to let the fireball fly, he sneezes hard. The fireball misdirects and catches on his clothes. He yelps as the flames lap at his clothes, then drops to the ground and rolls. But instead of extinguishing the flames, the grass ignites where he rolls. Soon the courtyard is amok with shrieking voices and running bodies. What am I even witnessing? Zack pulls me aside.
Now's our chance.
I nod, and the two of us slip through the same door we saw Leanna go through. We enter a brightly lit corner and try our best to blend in and stick to the few shadows in the room. We manage to escape the corridor without incident and reach another open hallway. A guard stands in the center of the room, making his rounds. Zack signals for me to stay back as he sneaks up on the guard. We'll do as he said. I stay back and give Zack space. He has far more experience in this sort of thing than I do, so I'm happy to follow his lead. As he gets close, he jumps on the guard and covers his mouth as he disarms him. I rush over and help him secure the guard into a more hidden alcove. He struggles as we place him in a chair. I hold him down as Zack approaches him.
Where are the commander's quarters?
I'll never tell.
Zack grins as he cracks his knuckles.
Ah, good.
Good?
I was hoping you'd resist. It makes interrogation so much more fun.
The guard resumes his struggles, but I continue to hold him down. Zack slowly approaches and I see the fear creep into the guard's eyes.
Hold on a second.
Zack doesn't stop. He balls his hand into a fist. The guard looks at me with panic in his eyes.
I'll talk. Just get that crazy guy away from me.
Zack frowns but stops walking towards him.
The commander's quarters are right down this hall and then a left at the next fork. His is the last room down that corridor.
That's all we needed. Thanks.
With one knockout punch, the guard falls unconscious and the two of us hurry off. As we turn down the hall, I face Zack. I'm surprised that was so easy. Zack sighs.
I know. How disappointing.
Yeah. I look blankly at Zack. Okay then. We sneak through the corridors and remain unspotted as we follow the guard's instructions. We recognize the commander's quarters immediately and see the two heavy mahogany. I forgot how to pronounce that word. These wooden material doors at the end of the hall are slightly ajar. Why are there no guards in front of the quarters? Isn't that suspicious?
Not if the commander's got a woman in his room.
Fair point. We slip into the room and are immediately greeted by a frenzy of whispers from Leanna.
Oh, finally! You guys sure took your sweet time.
Calm down. We got here as quickly as we could.
Where is the commander? Leanna points to a locked door. That must be the bathroom.
He went to freshen up.
She shudders. Zack crosses his arms.
Okay, then what are you doing just standing around here for? Get in a position.
What position?
A compromising one. Zack points to the bed and Leanna pales.
You can't be serious!
Do you want to jeopardize this operation or what?
How would posing on the bed help with this operation?
Because while he's very distractedly approaching the bed, we'll be able to knock him out from behind, quick and quiet, and not alerting any guards.
Leanna sighs, then lacklusterly climbs onto the bed. She lays down on her side and prompts her head up with her arm.
Like this?
Well, as we all know, I don't think it's... I think we can imagine that she's not doing it right, I guess. So... I shake my head. Leanna, move over. She moves off the bed. She moves off the bed and I take her place. I lay down on my back and sling one arm over my head as I raise one knee up. This is what you should be doing. She tries to hold in her laughter as I move off the bed. Zack frowns.
No, that's not right at all. You have to be more inviting.
Zack lunges on his stomach and bends his legs up at the knee as he rests his head in one of his hands.
This is the most effective pose.
Are you kidding me? You look like you're sunbathing at the beach. That's not alluring at all.
You don't know what you're talking about, woman.
I think I'd know a thing or two more about flirting than you would.
Oh, please enlighten me, sailor.
Oh. Leanna's face flushes at the memory. She's about to argue when the door to the bathroom flings open. A looming man stands in front of the door in nothing more than a too revealing Speedo.
Apologies for the delay, my sweet. I wanted to make sure that I was in.
He freezes when he sees Zack on the bed, and for a moment, nobody moves.
All right, before we begin fighting, I have a really important question.
Zack mimics Leanna's original pose.
Is this attractive?
The commander's face turns red with rage.
No!
Well, you're a guy. Unless, of course, that guy's homosexual. Just like, properly, well, in theory, Arthur Hunt, perhaps?
Thank you, that's exactly what I said.
Well, it would have been attractive if I were doing it.
True, I have to agree with that, if anyone cares about my opinion. The commander rolls out in anger. Zack rolls off the bed and withdraws his discharges in one smooth motion as Leanna's manipulator glows. I pull out my sword and ready a fighting stance. The commander glares at us.
Do you really think that a bunch of amateurs can take out someone as powerful as I? You fools will regret ever crossing paths with a Shadow General.
He raises his arms and readies a stance. Then his face falls as he realizes he's naked.
Oh, shit.
That was easy.
Zack shoots a blast which knocks the commander down. He smashes his head against the dresser and falls to the ground with a heavy thud. Leanna rushes to check him, her sword at the ready, but he is knocked out cold. Well, that's anticlimactic. Just like how we were trying to spar with Zack in a few episodes before. I sheath my blade. That was easy.
They aren't so tough without their magic.
Leanna has a manipulator out and performs a scan.
He said he was a Shadow General. That just confirms that this has something to do with Void.
She suddenly focuses on an area in the floor. Prying up the floorboard, we find a large bag filled with dark spheres.
Tainted spheres.
Definitely Void.
We can't leave the spheres here. We have to take them.
We'll be too conspicuous lugging this bag around.
But it would be even more dangerous to leave them here for them to use.
Also, what should we do with the Shadow General? Just leave him here? Zack shrugs. Suddenly, the window crashes open. We ready ourselves for another battle, but we recognize the figure as Broodman. He dusts himself off and heads straight and heads straight for the commander.
Finally, we meet again.
Broodman doesn't seem to notice we're there as he continues addressing the commander.
For all these years, I have slowly unraveled everything you've worked so hard to build. I have been that splinter that you just can't pull out. And now I am here to finish what I have started. For I am Broodman. You killed my brother. Prepare to die.
He frowns as the commander doesn't react.
And even now, you won't give me the decency of even acknowledging my presence.
He moves in to kick the commander when we stop him.
Hey, wait! He's unconscious!
Broodman pauses.
Ah, yes, of course. He was so intimidated by my speech that he passed out in fear.
That's not what... Broodman strides to the commander and seemingly without effort hauls him over his shoulder.
Don't worry, I'll take it from here.
He launches the commander out of the newly opened window. What the hell?
We're on the second floor!
Oh,
He rushes to the window. A fall from the second level may not be fatal, but it could still break a few bones. Luckily, the commander landed on a bush and looks unscathed. Broodman crosses his arms triumphantly.
all according to plan, my friends.
Well, you still would get a few pokes from the branches, I guess. It would still hurt. He climbs back through the window and lands on his feet beside the commander, then takes him away into the night. We pause as we let all of that sink in.
We should get out of here before we attract too much attention.
Leanna nods. She carries the bag of tainted spears as naturally as she can and pushes open the doors. There are two guards now stationed in front of the commander's quarters, and they give us questioning looks as the three of us slip out, careful to close the door behind us.
Where is the commander?
Please don't disturb him. He's all tuckered out from our certain activities.
She winks. That's new. The guard clears his throat uncomfortably.
Right, I understand.
The second guard looks suspiciously at Zack and me.
Hold on. What about you two?
Oh, don't worry, we took part in those activities too. I wink and try to hold back my laughter at their horrified expressions.
Would you like us to elaborate?
Nope, not necessary. You may go.
Zack grins as the three of us waltz out of the corridor. Well, that was easy too. Because the commander had made it clear what his intentions were with Leanna, we had no trouble with any of these guards milling about and were able to exit the mansion unquestioned. Once we were safely outside, we raced back to the inn. Bursting through the doors, we very urgently scoop up Amy and Kara.
Greetings upon your safe return. I assume your endeavors were successful.
Yep, everything's great, but we should really be getting a move on now. We'll fill you in on the details later.
Emilia looks surprised, but Kara notices the bag Leanna carries and urges Amy.
Sounds good. We've been itching to get out of here anyway. Come on, Amy. Let's go grab our things and head out. The sooner we're out of here, the closer we'll be to Ellendale.
Amy shrugs and follows Kara upstairs to grab their things. Once they return downstairs, we depart. As we leave Wolfsden, I spot the familiar dark visage of Broodman. Beside him is a woman wearing a hooded green cloak. She carries a large bow on her back. Well, it's a fun like addition. I'm not sure what's that called. It's kind of like, well, in short, it's extra dialogue, but you can get to know more of these people. Like, you might get references or probably is it foreshadowing? Yeah, you in like later on in the episode you may know more about that certain hooded character, I guess. So we choose to like stay behind, I guess. I slip away from the group and step closer to Broodman, making sure to stay hidden from their view. The woman has braid, long white hair, and fine lines trace her tan skin. Broodman nods.
The deed has been done. Void's operation here will crumble without their commander. Wolfsden need fear the shadows no longer.
The woman nods in satisfaction. Suddenly, her gaze slides to me. I freeze, unable to move. What do I do? Broodman notices her gaze and looks at me. He flashes me a broad smile and gives me a thumbs up. The woman's face is partially hidden behind a scarf, but she nods slowly, approvingly. She abruptly turns and leaps up. She scales the wall and disappears onto the rooftop, silent and graceful, like a cat. Broodman pulls himself up using his brute strength, before following closely behind. At least I know he's doing okay. I catch up with my friends as we continue out of the gates of Wolfsden. Once we are on the road, Leanna and I fill the rest of the team in on what happened. After traveling as swiftly as we can for the rest of the evening, we decide to make camp. We chose a secluded area of the main road and set to work. Leanna and I split up to search for firewood while Zack and Kara prepare our rations. Amy unrolls her sleeping pack and lights the campfire. The Pongo cuddles beside her and watches the dancing flames. Once the food is ready, all of us gather around and begin to eat in silence. Kara playfully breaks the silence.
Foiling another void operation. Seems like just another day in the life now.
Actually, now that you mention it, we have seen a lot of void presence lately. Weren't they supposed to have been disbanded and outlawed? Why are they everywhere?
Unless every single person who believes in Void's ideals and goals are gone, it's impossible to fully get rid of Void. They've always been around, even after the Tree of Assyria. They're just more secretive about it now. It's just, you won't find them unless you know where to look.
Amelia thinks.
If what you say about Void and its operations are true, then the most logical course of action would be to alert the Mage Guild or Academy of their whereabouts.
They're probably already aware of Void activities and have missions to monitor or take care of things.
It's true that the Mage Guild is involved with a lot of suspicious reports of magical activities. I'm sure many of them have some connection to Void, which the Guild would keep secret so as not to entice widespread panic.
That makes sense. A resourceful organization like that would have some serious flaws in its intelligence if they were completely blindsided by all of this. Amy nods.
What has been said seems sensible.
And by the way, I think Leanna, I'm not sure. Incense? Did she say incense? Or this is insight, I guess.
It's true that the Mage Guild is involved with a lot of suspicious reports of magical activities. I'm sure many of them have some connection to Void, which the Guild would keep secret so as not to entice widespread panic.
Entice? Zack points to the bag of spears.
What are we gonna do with those? Someone will probably come looking for them.
Leanna moves towards the bag.
We'll turn them into the Mage Guild of the next city, and let them know what happened.
She tries to secure the bag when a blue little head pops up.
Poi!
The Pongo dives back into the sea of spheres, and we hear contented sighs of Poi.
Pongo, what are you doing in there?
She reaches straight into the bag and pulls him out, much to the Pongo's dismay.
Poi!
He struggles against her grip, but she grabs him firmly. If a Pongo absorbs a tainted spear, will the Pongo become tainted too? Amy shakes her head.
No, the way a sphere becomes tainted is by becoming supersaturated with energy, thus becoming unstable. A Pongo's absorption of energy is to turn sad energy into fuel. He is unaffected by the type of energy absorbed.
Kara looks intrigued. She scoots closer to the Pongo and tickles him. He giggles.
Huh, I never knew that.
If that's the case, why don't Pungos use against Void? Send them into Void establishments to absorb the tainted spheres.
Absorbing spheres doesn't happen overnight. And when a Pongo is full, he'll stop absorbing energy. Just like how we can't eat anymore after we finished a meal.
Perhaps in a span of a couple months, a Pongo could remove all energy within a tainted sphere.
Exactly. The process is just too slow to be effective during a battle.
Pongo manages to wiggle out of Leanna's grasp and plops down beside me. He stares longingly at the bag but makes no move to return. We finish up eating and begin to clean up. Afterwards, I stay for a yawn. The stars shine pinpoints of light amidst the black sky, and their comforting glow makes me even sleepier. We had a long day. As the rest of the group also gets ready for bed, I crawl into my bedroll and close my eyes. The night is still, and gradually I can hear the soft breathing of my friends as they each drift to sleep. A gentle shuffling noise has me blink open my eyes. I see the Pongo slip out of Leanna's bedroll and tiptoe on over towards the bag of spears, glancing back every so often at her sleeping form to make sure she doesn't hear. When he gets close, he shuffles the last few inches into the bag and scrambles inside. The last thing I hear is a purring of toys as I drift to sleep. I wake up. That was a crazy day yesterday, but we somehow managed to pull through. I stand up and stretch while looking around. Well, you know, as per usual, I stop here. So I'll continue this in the next episode. So thank you guys for watching Javelin Studios. My name is Javelin, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Crystalline. Signing out. Have a great night, everyone.